Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. So it's been a long time since we did our last recording and we apologize for the same. In the last recording, we were on chapter number 10, that is Growth of New India, Religious and Social Reform after 1858. We will continue with the same chapter and we were on page number 181, that was the first paragraph. We completed till the sentence that was by integrating them into Indian cultural streams. Moving on to the next paragraph. The two negative aspects of the religious reform movements may also be noted. Firstly, all of them catered to the needs of small percentage of the population, the urban middle and the urban class and the upper classes. None of them could reach the vast masses of the peasantry and the urban poor, who continued by and large to lead their lives by traditional custom ridden ways. This was because they basically gave voice to urges of the educated and urban strata of the Indian society. The second limitation, which later became a major negative factor, was a tendency to look backward, appeal to the past greatness, and to rely on scriptural authority. Those tended to go against the positive teachings of the reform movements themselves. They undermined to some extent the supremacy of human reason and scientific outlook. They encouraged mysticism in new grabs and fostered pseudo-scientific thinking. Appeals to past greatness created false pride and smugness, while the habit of finding a golden age in the past acted as a check on the full acceptance of the modern science and hampered the effort to improve the present. But most of all, these tendencies tended to divide Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, and Parsis, as also high caste Hindus from low caste Hindus. Any overemphasis on religion in a country containing many religions was bound to have divisive effect. Moreover, the reformers put a one-sided emphasis on the religious and philosophical aspects of the cultural heritage. These aspects were moreover not a common heritage of all people. On the other hand, art and architecture, literature, music, science, technology, etc., in which all the sections of the people had played an equal role, were not sufficiently emphasized. In addition, the Hindu reformers invariably confined their praise to the Indian past, to its ancient period. Even a broad minded man like Swami Vivekananda talked about the Indian spirit or India's past achievements in the sense alone. These reformers looked upon the medieval period of Indian history as essentially an era of decadence. This was not only unhistorical but also socially and politically harmful. It tended to create the notion of two separate peoples. Similarly, an uncritical praise of the ancient period and religions could not be fully acceptable to the persons coming from lower caste who had for centuries suffered under the most destructive caste oppression which had developed precisely during the ancient period. The result of all these factors was that instead of all Indians talking and taking an equal pride in their past material and cultural achievements and deriving inspiration from them, the past became a heritage of the few. Moreover, the past itself tended to be torn into compartments on a partition basis. Many extent of turning to the history of West Asia for their traditions and moments of pride. Increasingly, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, and Parsis, and later on lower caste Hindus who had been influenced by the reform movements tended to be different from one another. On the other hand, the Hindu and Muslim masses who followed traditional ways untouched by reform movements still lived in harmony, practicing their different religious rituals. To some extent, the process of the evolution of a composite culture that had been going on for centuries was arrested. Though in other spheres national unification of the Indian people was accelerated, the evil aspects of the phenomena became apparent when it was found that along with the rapid rise of national consciousness, another consciousness, communal consciousness, had begun to rise among the middle classes. Many other factors were certainly responsible for the birth of communalism in modern times, but undoubtedly the nature of the religious reform movements also contributed to it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next recording, we'll be talking about social reform. Thank you everyone for tuning in. All the best for your exams and take care of yourselves. Thank you.